everyone, to another episode of Market of the Moment. I'm Sharon Terhune, the sales manager and vice president over here at Fidelity National Title, joined as always by my partner in crime over here, Mr. Don Tchaikovsky, our director of channel sales here at Fidelity. We have an exciting two-part series coming up it's going to be spread out a little bit with Thanksgiving holiday coming up. But Don, who's going to be joining us?
So Tammie Brethower from Knock is going to be joining us. And so I had the good fortune of recently being at an event where Tammie was a speaker, and just like, we need to help her get the word out about their bridge loan opportunities, especially the way the market is right now.
Yeah.
So so I think that, and you mentioned we're going to be, our two parts are going to be over 3 weeks because we're not going to be on for Thanksgiving.
Right.
But I think that there's just so much valuable information. So we're going to do two parts. We're going to do one part where she's going to kind of do an overview, and the second part where we do some Q&A with her. So
Love it.
So let's go ahead and check in with Tammie. We are so excited to be joined by Tammie Brethower from Knock. And for those of you guys that aren't familiar with Knock, you're going to want to pay attention to this. We're going to be doing a two-part series with Tammie, and she's going to walk us through the program, and then we're going to kind of pepper her with a bunch of questions and kind of get into the more details. So, I've had the good fortune of meeting Tammie recently and just really kind of looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing product. And so many of our partners would benefit by having access to Tammie. So that said, Tammie, we're going to let you take it away. And if you can kind of walk us through the program, I know you've got some slides you want to share. And then from there, like I said, we're going to kind of get into those questions and kind of dig in a little bit more.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you all can see my slides. So I just want to start by saying Knock has been around since actually we were established in 2015. Our founders of Knock were the original founders. A couple of them were the original founders of Trulia Real Estate. And so I'm sure most of you are familiar with Trulia. And once they got out or sold out, if you will, to Zillow, they decided to start Knock. And so we've been around quite a while. The product that I'm going to talk about today, the exciting one I'm going to tell you about today, we actually launched this product in June of 2020. What we do now is called our Knock Bridge Loan, and it's the first of its kind. I'm sure most of you have probably heard about bridge loans, but let me tell you, everything you know about them, put it out the window and listen to what I'm going to tell you, because what we got is super exciting. It's going to allow your clients to be able to access the money that's tied up in their house so that they then can go and buy their new house before they sell their old one. Wow. We really founded this program because we know that 2/3 of the market have a house to sell and they're buying a house at the same time. You know, they've got the one to get rid of and a new one to move into. But the trick in all of it is when you've got so much equity tied up in the old one, how do you go about buying the new one first? So we solved for that problem.
I mean, this is, I'm sorry, Tammie, I don't mean to interrupt. Hopefully it's okay if we, as we're going through this, so we kind of ask a little, or just a little color, because I think that, right now that's what we're seeing is a challenge, right? Is like, we still have low inventory. We still aren't really sure how long homes are going to take to sell because, things have slowed significantly. So this kind of gives some different freedoms to potential buyers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a great opportunity to add some flexibility and certainty to a transaction that's been very uncertain for so many years. So in the next screen, I show you what people get excited about is buying their new house, right? They get excited about going shopping and finding their new house and looking for the right one and finding the one that has everything they want. And especially today, if they're going to make that move, they want to make sure that the new one has everything they need, everything they want, right? But what's traditionally happened is, oh, well, you got to sell your house first. And we all know that selling the house isn't the fun part at all. You can kind of see the roller coaster ride of emotions here on this screen that you go through. And so what we did is say, hey, let's put the fun stuff first, get you moved into your new house, enjoying your new house. And then once you're out of the old house, get it sold, get it on the market and get it sold. You don't have to live there while people are traipsing in and out. You don't have to deal with that. All you have to worry about is getting into your new house.
Right.
So it's all about buying first, selling later. And this kind of gives you the timeline on that. Find your new house, get your old one ready for the market, get it on the market, get it sold, and move on about your business. Now, how does this work? Why does this work? Why is it different? Those are some really important questions. So what we do is we pair our bridge loan with a mortgage on the new property. Typically, the mortgage on the new property is going to be a conventional loan or a jumbo loan. The reason for that is because one of the integral parts of our bridge loan is a guaranteed offer on the departing property. Our guaranteed offer actually follows Freddie and Fannie guidelines, lending guidelines, so that it allows the lender to be able to exclude the current monthly payment from the debt to income ratio. This is huge right now because it really helps with people's qualifying. It's very difficult for the majority of people to qualify for two mortgages at the same time. So our Knock guaranteed offer is a benefit for qualifying for the loan on the new house. It also allows the agent, the real estate agent, to be able to make offers that are not contingent on the sale of the old property. Now that's huge, right? Because in a competitive market, sellers don't want to entertain contingent offers because they want some certainty. They want to know that once they go under contract, the house is going to sell. It's going to close when they think it's going to close because those people are trying to make plans for their new house and moving into their new house. So we can get rid of the sales contingency also with our bridge loan. The maximum amount that we can do on a bridge loan is $500,000. It's obviously dependent on the equity in the departing property. Now, how do we utilize it? We can do up to $500,000 in equity. We can remove the home sale contingency. Now, at this time, the maximum amount of money that we can lend with our bridge loan for the down payment on the new house is 30%. So 30% of the purchase price of the new house can be included in the bridge loan for the new house. It also covers the closing costs on the loan for the new house. One of the other great features about this is not only do they not have to qualify for two mortgages, but we're going to cover 6 months worth of payment coverage, PITI payments on the departing property. What we do is we disperse that money to them 1 month at a time after they close on the new house. We do it 1 month at a time so that they're certain they've got the money in the account and they can make the payment on the old house. They only have to budget for the new payment out of their regular budget. Something else that I think is a very beneficial feature of our bridge loan is that we can build in up to $35,000 of what we call a home prep budget. This is money that the borrower can use to fix up their house before they put it on the market. Once they move out, maybe they realize, geez, we really kind of need to put in some new carpet, or maybe they just need some new paint to make it fresh. But this is money, this home prep budget, or staging. Staging is another big deal, right? They can use that money for any of those types of things. The idea behind it is use that money, it's your equity, use that money to get the most out of your house when you sell it. Get it ready for the market and sell it for top dollar. That's the whole idea. Something else that's become very important is that the ability to pay off secured and unsecured debt with bridge funds. A lot of people have some debt that needs to get paid off in order for them to qualify. And so we can utilize bridge funds, depending, of course, on the equity on the departing property, but we can utilize bridge funds to pay off secured and unsecured debt, credit card debt, student loan debt. If there is a HELOC on the property, we do have to pay that off because we do have to go in second lien holder position. Biggest thing is that you can buy with confidence. Your clients have the ability to move forward with certainty and confidence when they make an offer on a new home. So I think that's real important. This is kind of just gives you an idea. Let me just tell you, our Knock purchase offer, it's a cash offer on their departing property, but it's only calculated at 80% of market value because guess what? We really do not want to buy the house. However, it's there for a very good reason. Up front, we use it, like I told you, for underwriting purposes. Once they close on their new house, this Knock purchase offer goes into a backup offer position on the departing property. It's in a backup offer position for 180 days, which coincides with 6-month time frame. Because one of the most important things I haven't told you yet is our bridge loan is 0% interest for 6 months. Okay. So that 6-month clock starts ticking the day you close on your new house. 180 days later, the bridge loan is due. We give you that 6-month time frame to get your house sold on the open market for more than 80%. If for some unknown reason that house does not sell, in 180 days, our knock purchase offer is there as a safety net. Think of it like an insurance policy. It's there in a worst case situation. It's always designed to cover the first mortgage payoff, the bridge loan payoff, and real estate commissions so that in a worst case situation, your client walks away in their new house, living happily in their new house with no additional money out of pocket. So I think that's very important to understand. So I've kind of gone through this. I really like to stress that we really want your clients to sell their house for a maximum dollar on the open market. It does say here 91% of our eligible listings sell within 90 days. So people who have done this program, typically their house sells in 90 days. Now, here's another little statistic that I think is important. 99.5% of the people who have utilized the Knock Bridge since inception, remember I told you we launched this in June of 2020, 99.5% of them have sold their house to somebody other than Knock. So I just say that so that you know our offer is for real. We have had to buy a couple houses, but at the end of the day, we really want your client to get the most out of it. Now let's talk about the important stuff. First of all, notice on this slide that there is zero cost to commission. So agents, we rely on the agents for the list price of the property. We rely on the agents for their expertise because they are the local experts. And we don't take any commission from them. We don't dictate how much commission they can take. We have nothing to do with that. That's between them and their client. Now, there is a cost for our bridge loan. What's the cost? The cost is 2% contract fee calculated on the original list price of the departing property. Okay, so whatever the real estate agent tells us they're going to list the price for list the house for, well, 2% of that is going to be the contract fee. And right now that contract fee is capped at $15,000. That is the equivalent of a $750,000 list price. It's included in the bridge loan paid by the bridge loan. There's also standard lending fees associated with the bridge loan. We estimate approximately $1,850 of closing costs, which include title, escrow, recording, those types of fees to get the bridge loan closed. Most importantly, the bridge loan has 0 payments for 6 months and is 0% interest for 6 months. So in other words, your clients get to use their equity for 6 months, 0 payments, 0% interest. We're going to give it to them in advance. So the buy before they sell, get pre-qualified. Now, the nice thing about this is most agents have a relationship with a lender, a preferred lender that they go to. So you can still go there, send your clients to your preferred lender because we at Knock can work with any lender out there. So that's the exciting thing, that you get to work with your agent, you get to work with your preferred lender, and I'm just here to support you with a bridge loan that brings all the features and benefits that we've talked about today. I think that's pretty well, in a nutshell, that kind of sums it up. Let's just talk real quick about qualifying. As far as client qualifying, really the only thing we need from the client is to make sure that they have a 620 or higher credit score. One borrower on the title of the departing property has to have 620 or higher. It takes approximately 30% of gross equity to make a bridge loan work. This is a program for people who are selling a primary residence and buying a new primary residence. It's a primary resident to primary resident type of a program. And most importantly, what we're looking for is that the property qualifies for the bridge loan. What causes a property to qualify or not qualify? Some things that we cannot do bridge loans on. We can't do a bridge loan on a condo, and we cannot do a bridge loan on a manufactured home. Those are the 2 things that are right off the bat there. No, we can't do it. If the property happens to be in a 55 and older community in some place like Arizona, that makes sense, right? Because we have a lot of those types of communities. So we will look at those on an individual basis. Sometimes they make sense and sometimes they don't. So we just take a little bit more review of those types of properties. Now, what you see on the screen right now is very important. The states that you see highlighted in blue on this map are the states where we can do a bridge loan. In other words, the listing property can be in any one of these states. Okay. The purchase can be wherever the loan advisor is licensed, so it can be anywhere, right? But just remember that there are certain states that the actual listing where the bridge property is can be in.
All right, that was great. I really enjoyed all that information that Tammie had for us. And as we mentioned, in 2 weeks when we're back after Thanksgiving, that Tammie will be back on, and we're going to have some questions and answers with her. And we just really covered a lot of the things that the event, some of those questions that were asked, and just some things that came up to us while we were looking at it. So.
Well, what I love most about this whole series, if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch the whole thing if you missed any of it, because it's such a win-win-win-win situation.
Yeah.
Everybody's winning.
Right.
On every angle of this.
A bunch of winners.
So we love winners.
Yes.
We love winners. It's a perfect timing with the market of what Knock's got going on.
And it solves a problem, right? It solves a problem that a lot of our consumers are facing right now, and gives our partners an opportunity to go out and be that professional for their clients. So
right, with an incredible solution.
Yep.
To find the house now and not let the selling of their house detriment that buying process.
Yep, absolutely. So let's go check in with Mindy and see what's happening out in the market right now. Speaking of the ebbs and flows of the market. So Market Master Mindy, what do we got going on out there?
It's a busy time of year, and we know that if you've been looking to make a move, you might be thinking of putting your search on the back burner until after the holidays, when in fact, this might be the best time to get back into the market if you've stepped out for a bit. The greater Phoenix area is actually headed towards a balanced market. And while some think that this kind of market could lead to lower sales prices, it's also possible that the timing will coincide with our typical busy season. And by the time lower prices could show up, we'll already be headed back in the other direction. That's because sales prices aren't the first thing to change as the market slows, but in fact, one of the last. First, we'd see lower list prices and even higher concession amounts, which are often more helpful for buyers, although they tend to squeeze the seller's profit margin a bit. With the big decline in rates this month and FHA and VA getting under that 7% mark, when we were actually floating above 8% for a bit, the expectation is that we might be through the worst of the rate hikes. And if that's the case, then this current seasonal slowdown will definitely be short-lived, and you can expect the peak home buying season to be back in swing come first quarter. Sellers are actually being advised not to test higher sales prices right now, especially the further out you are from the center of the cities. While we know that the fourth quarter is not traditionally the best time to get your home on the market, sellers always want to be selling in a seller's market, which we're in. The trade-off between listing now and waiting for the first quarter could be the trade-off between a stronger seller's market now and more competition from other sellers, longer days on market, and more price reductions if mortgage rates remain volatile in the first quarter. Buyers have got an opportunity right now that they might not have in January, and sellers may get their sales price, but at a higher cost as long as rates stay elevated. The market has its challenges, but also some major upsides, and compared to the last few years is far more normal and far more balanced for both buyers and sellers.
Mindy, thank you so much, as always, for your incredible market update. We always appreciate your insight and your knowledge of the market and what's going on in real time for us, and interesting to keep tabs on what's going on with inventories and everything out there. So I am curious as to what's going on with rates. Don and I say it every single month, like, where's the free money, man?
Right.
Is it
We miss it.
ever
We miss
coming
that free
back?
money.
I miss talking about free money. But let's check in with Amber Kovarik over at Guild Mortgage and see what's going on in the lending world.
Hey, Amber Kovarik with Guild Mortgage and a quick market update. So we just recently received the CPI report, which showed inflation at its lowest level in 2 years. Woohoo! This is what we've been waiting for. I've been talking week after week about needing to see inflation come down in order for mortgage interest rates to come down. So upon this news, we had a really big rally or an improvement in mortgage interest rates. And just like that, the markets are now talking about a potential rate cut in March instead of future rate hikes. Now, we're going to be getting data coming out all of the time, and we need to be seeing on all accounts that the trend is showing a slowing economy. But this was really positive news. It's a great message to get out to your clients, because remember, we want to keep talking about how important it is for our buyers to buy now before interest rates come down. We know that there is a large backlog of demand sitting on the sidelines, and as interest rates come down and it increases affordability, we're going to see the demand pick up, causing prices to rise, causing inventory to become even lower, and allowing our buyers to have very little control and negotiation power. So pick up the phone, call your clients, give them the good news, and let us know how we can help.
Amber, thank you so much for the update. You know, Sharon, I'm going to steal some of your lines right now because you know, you typically talk about how important it is to have great partners, and you know, and so in a environment the way things are right now, where we're seeing fluctuations in the rates almost daily, you know, having a great lender is so important. But if you're a consumer, being represented by a great realtor is also so important.
So important.
And then, you know, and of course for our real estate partners out there, hopefully you see the value that we're providing you at Fidelity, and know how important that partnership is as well in getting your deals across the finish line. So, all right, that wraps us up. And next week we are off for Turkey Day. And a little overeating and all that stuff. So, so thank you for joining us. We will be back in a couple weeks, and have a great holiday.
Ciao.